I'm especially excited about a few things on the agenda, starting with a keynote talk this morning from Mike Gaffrey of Yelp. There we go. So a little context on why Mike is so special and giving the keynote talk. First of all, he's not just the head of business development of Yelp, which is doing really exciting things in this space, but he's also a former venture capitalist and the co-founder of two really cool apps. One is Stitcher, a radio app, and the other one is a $1,000 app called BarMax, which helps students pass the bar. Just a little interesting tidbit. But the other thing is the way that Mike thinks. In January, many of you may have seen this, Mark Andreessen declared the end of bricks and mortar. He said all shopping would go online and there would be only e-commerce. So he had some valid arguments about the cost structure around retail chains, but it was generally a blanket statement saying there was no future beyond e-commerce. So the next month, Mike wrote a detailed response to Mark's premise in which he broke down which areas of offline commerce are vulnerable to being swept into the e-commerce funnel and which are going to be around for a very long time. And he called this the local coefficient, and it's the topic of his talk today. So the premise of this, all real-world commerce getting sucked up by the internet, obviously sends shudders down the backs of not just local businesses themselves, but also many of you here today who are aiming to help these businesses increase the foot traffic and sales in their stores. So along those lines, after lunch today, we'll hear some data around that from Street Fight Deputy Editor Stephen Jacobs, who also happens to be the author of a white paper we recently released on mobile targeting solutions, which are indeed intended to get people into stores to increase foot traffic and sales. So as he'll mention, the data shows that when done right, targeting does result in high conversion rates to purchases and puts to bed the threat of showrooming. So I'm really excited that you'll hear from Stephen, who is just a brilliant thinker around this stuff and has done a great report. So, more generally speaking, here we are. Local is still in its infancy. We're still cycling through good ideas and bad ideas to find the lasting business models that work. Groupon and Living Social are kind of getting lost in the story, while we're seeing other battles taking place in local search and directories, point of sale, scheduling solutions, and everyone's looking to find the strategies and the software that support the best strategies that meet the needs, the customer goals, and the operational habits of local businesses. And the truism in all of this is that there is great opportunity and value in providing marketing solutions for local businesses, and investors know that. We had $12 million for Swipely the other day, $27 million for Booker recently, $9 million for Wonderful, PlaceIQ closed $7 million, FoodPanda $20 million, and this is just in the last couple months, so doing great. So at Street Fight, through our daily website and newsletter, we're tracking all of these developments, putting it into context of the big picture, which is the focus of our conferences and the white papers we publish and the great webinars that we produce. So it's an ongoing story, and there's still issues to be sorted through. So today, something I'm really excited about is that we're introducing a new format called Street Fights to the stage, and we've got 6 really smart folks who have some strong opinions about what's going on in the space, and so we'll see those later. So you can find these Street Fights in your program as well as on the Bizzabo app, and this app is really great. It's a great networking tool, and if you haven't downloaded it onto your iPhone or Android, you can do that. Search for Street Fight Summit West, 4 words, and use the code LOCAL13 to get into that. So some other bits of housekeeping. Here's our Twitter handle, SFSW13. You can join the LinkedIn group called Street Fight Summit. I want to note that there are charging stations located along the walls behind you. And we have lots of areas for networking. We have the Farallon room behind you, the Gateway room, which is in that corner, and I think the Sansa Marriott at some point. Also, in the Gateway room, you'll find 2 semi-private areas for meetings, if that's useful. Restrooms are back here. Okay, and then also want to mention, at lunch, we have a nice treat, which is that at 1:15 in the Gateway room, which is in that corner, we have David Mim and Andrew Shotland doing a stand-up routine. so that'll be fun. So food and beverages also behind you in the Farallon room all day. And where, also our sponsors are set up, so you'll have a chance to talk to them. And so, speaking of our sponsors, before I hand it over to Mike, I wanted to not just thank our sponsors, but also just say, it's been really a pleasure working with them, and it's just another great way to get to know many of the companies. And it's, along those lines, it really is great to see so many familiar faces and getting to know people better who are doing really smart things in this space. And if you're here today, you're really smart and you're doing great things in this space. So thank you for coming, and I'll see you all day long. Okay, thanks.